right off the bat, before we talk about your season and what's coming up next, how do you like that new number 10?
I love it. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. I that would have been like my choice as a career number. 5 would be like my first choice, like as a single digit.
Yeah.
But as far as like a career number in general without winning an outdoor national title, 10 would be my pick. So I'm happy to represent it. And I always looked up to Justin Brayton and stuff like that. So I think it's going to look good on the bike.
All right. So next item on the agenda here, how's the shoulder post-surgery?
It's good. We're about just over 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks on yesterday. So I feel good. I'm out in California with Dr. G every day, just rehabbing and getting this thing strong, getting the range of motion back. But all was good. It was my labrum was 360-degree tear. They didn't think it was that bad until they got in there, but we got 12 anchors in there now. Surgery went good. Hopefully that thing isn't going nowhere now, but definitely something that needed to get fixed. And I'm glad it all went good. But now just focusing on the healing process, and hopefully I can get back on the bike, sooner than later, but obviously not rushing it. Going to be doing East Coast is the plan. And it'll be good.
All right, let's talk about your season. Supercross East, second place. I think you missed the win by about 3 points. Outdoors, 7th. SMX, 2nd. Honestly, I feel like when you look at it, when you look at the numbers, incredible year. You should be very, very happy. But at the same time, kind of heartbreaking the way the Supercross and SMX ended so close to titles with just weird little things happening. It could have went either way. I have to assume you take the positive, though, because honestly, it was an incredible year for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. Like, looking back on it, there is like so many positives to take from it. Obviously, when you do look at the numbers, like, 2 second places and, the East Championship and Supercross, and then the SMX, it was, obviously sucks to be the first loser, right? And you're so close.
Yeah, I guess.
But regardless of that, it's like, even coming into this year, the championships weren't at the top of the goal list, right? It was just kind of get through the season and take those positives along with it and just continue to progress throughout the season. And I feel like I did that. Outdoors was not like the greatest, and I had, some issues there. But I feel like I always just kind of rebounded pretty well, even through, the crashes or whatever it was. And I definitely didn't realize, like, after Salt Lake and the Supercross thing, it definitely took me a bit to get over that. Like, I just, not that I was like holding on to it. It was just, well, I guess it was kind of that, but you just, like, your mind would drift back to that. And then you'd be like, man, like, what could I have done different? And then you just beat yourself up about it, and then that was honestly just like, that would take a toll on me mentally. And then obviously that drains you physically. And it was just a little bit of a rough start to the outdoors. And I never got like a good like couple races, to build on outdoors. But other than that, it was good. Then SMX, I felt like it was another super solid, like, it's only 3 races, but it was still really good. 3 second place overalls at, the 3 races, and second in the points, which, like I said, the first loser is never fun, but hey, we'll take it, and just a lot to build on.
Yeah. So you said a couple things that I want to respond to. So the first one was that the championship was never really the goal to kind of get through the season, but I feel like there had to be a point where it maybe did become a little bit of a focus, especially in Supercross, where it's like, all right, well, hey, this is right there. So did that change your preparation? Did that change your mental state, or how you prepared for a weekend, or did you just continue the same all season as usual?
No, you're right. Like, I guess I should have said, like, coming into the season beforehand was like, that was with the championship. But even when it was getting towards, say, like the last, when I got the red plate and then we have like 4 races left, it was definitely like, okay, you kind of mentally you have to shift your focus a little bit towards like, man, like, I'm actually in this thing, and you got to not really prepare differently, but just go into the races, knowing what you're racing for, and also trying to, do everything that you've been practicing during the week and, preseason to stay healthy and all that stuff. But no, there wasn't any changes during the week as far as riding or training once I got in the position of leading the championship or anything like that. It was more just we did all the same things, and I feel like that's what got me to that point, and we just stayed doing what we were doing, and it almost worked out for us, and regardless, it was still a great season.
Absolutely. And then when you look at how Salt Lake City finished and how Vegas finished, is there like you had to be a little bit of like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's just like a learning experience, I guess, right? You did all you could do. Mm-hmm. You didn't really make a significant mistake that cost you a problem. Like you were out, you did all you could do. And sometimes that's how the cards fall.
It is. And that's one thing I learned, going through 2 championships, being in them at the last rounds this year is like, everybody's willing to do whatever, to win these championships, and you got to expect the unexpected, maybe, kind of thing. Yeah. And just go in there, and be your best, but it's hard to when it's a race, that has that much on the line, I guess. And Vegas didn't feel much like Salt Lake City, really, just because, I was a little bit outside looking in. But whenever Hayden and Joe were doing their thing, I was like, man, this could really pay me back right here. And it almost did. But, it's just, depends what situation you're in, and it flip-flops a lot. But, I think just going through those scenarios is going to help me in the future.
Working at the Dog Pound, working with Darren Lawrence, Dazzy, it sounds like he's been pretty beneficial to your program. So kind of take us through that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Ever since I went down there, it's been, I moved down there around this time last year, and right away, my plan was to train with Michael Byrne, and, Dazzy obviously overlooks, the boys and us as well as when we ride, and we all ride and train together. But it's been beneficial. The whole program that they have down there, everybody down there gets, along really good. We push each other, but I feel like learning, some of the things that he does to help with technique and, just to build a better foundation. And that's what we worked on, especially when we first got down there. Before we worried about speed or anything, the technical side of things was first and foremost. And I still, like I touched on before, it's better. I still have more to do and more to improve on, as always. But I definitely think, having Dazzy and Michael Byrne down there just, helping me every day, it's a huge benefit. And I can't thank those guys enough for, the opportunity alone, just being able to go down there. And got to give huge props to them for, for the season as well. That's where a lot of this stuff came from, I believe.
My last question is the Colitis. How's that going? You kind of got that under control? You got it figured out?
Yeah, we're getting better for sure. Okay. SMX was a positive. It's very like, the flare-ups, happen not really for it's hard to, pinpoint the reason why they do come on more aggressively than other times. And that's kind of really tough. One thing about the outdoors is like the heat and the longer motos really do not help that at all. And that's, something that we're trying to figure out what the best, what works best for me as far as diet wise, making sure I have the energy sources and good food and all of that stuff. But yeah, definitely it's been a learning process. And like I said, it's been all the way through Supercross and everything like that. But I feel like Supercross just doesn't show as much from being inside the stadiums. It's much cooler weather, shorter motos. And also like, Supercross, you have a bunch of short efforts, then you have one main event, and then you're done. Outdoors, 2 practices. The first moto, which my first motos and outdoors are always pretty good. And I don't drop off, too much. Still not great. Definitely need to be better. But and then it's hard for me to recover in between. So learning what to do in between motos and to get my body, back feeling as best as possible for Moto2 is going to be, key to figure out for this next year. But as we go on, it's getting a lot better.